this defense have any heart?
No, they suck.
First and 10.
I've been telling you all season, Philly.
Shit on you. They've shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slide. They shit on you. They've shit on you. They have shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slide. They shit on you. Kill them.
Oh my goodness! Did he say they cock it on them?
Hate the style of defense.
I'm just gonna enjoy this for a minute this morning. So this is what it feels like to wake up in first place. Good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Let me say shout out to Queen Bella. You know what's kind of funny is you made me the raid. I didn't need the raid all week. For whatever reason, the can of raid, I think Philly 500 knew. I think it was kind of like in the Green Mile where they have the guy and, you know, he's walking down the aisle because he's going to the executioner and they say, dead man walking. Dead man walking. Right? We have a dead man walking because Philly 500 has been quiet all week leading up to this game. All week long. I got the bottle of eggnog, trying to call him out, trying to talk to him about, you know, the game. I wanted to try and do a live stream together and things. And he's been, I've been busy. Work on Monday and Tuesday is just bad. Since Buffalo. I'm sorry, not Buffalo. Since the 49ers. Oh, man, work is just so busy. I just haven't had time. And going through, he didn't hit me like he usually did. It used to be he would send me all kinds of clips and tell me how bad the Cowboys were and how much they stinks. You know, I did have a few trolls come in that said, get the brooms out because we're sweeping you. And with everything on the line, everything, the Eagles went from first place home field advantage to fifth place. Fifth seed. Let me say that again, fifth seed. Now, Philly 500 says, well, you know, we still got home field advantage. You know, we still got the division. All we got to do is win out. Oh, we just got to win out. Is that right? I'm going to say you got the Seahawks. That's a team that's desperate. See if Geno plays this week. You got the Giants. The Giants-Eagles are always close. You got Arizona, and you got the Giants. I don't know that you do beat the Giants twice. That the Giants could look at this and say, we can ruin your season, which would help make our season. And let me be clear here. All of the bravado and all the talk that we've gotten from the talking heads about how Jalen Hurts doesn't lose games back to back. We trust Jalen Hurts more than we trust Dak Prescott. In fact, we used to have people that used to say, like Greg Jennings did, I'm never going to let you live that one down. They trust Daniel Jones more than Dak Prescott. Yeah. Danny DeVito on that team, or Tommy DeVito, has more touchdown passes than Daniel Jones, FYI. Yeah. And you paid that guy. But be that as it may, if the Eagles are playing like they are right now, because what I saw last night, I think the Cowboys really broke them. I'm going to say that I think the Cowboys broke A.J. Brown that game they played and the Cowboys lost. Because A.J. Brown is not the same guy. He's dropping stuff, and that's not to say that CeeDee Lamb hasn't dropped some passes in here too, because he has. And the Cowboys Still, the kicking, the special teams last night, wonderful. The defense only gave up 6 points. The offense, we had some drops in there. We had some drops. Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb had a short touchdown. We had a few blocking assignments, but that were messed up. But this team, you have to now look at them and say that, like I've been saying for a while, this is not the same team that lost to San Francisco. This is not the team that they said only beats up on bad teams. Or maybe it is. Maybe the Eagles are overrated and they're not a good team. Because this Eagle team that we've been talking about for a while has been having struggles against teams like the Commanders. They beat the Commanders 34-31 in overtime. They beat the Commanders 38-21, where the Commanders had a chance had Scary Terry not dropped a fourth down catch. This is a team that the Minnesota Vikings had none of their starting offensive linemen in that still scored 28 and they won 34-28. This is a team that allowed Mac Jones to have 3 touchdown passes. This is a team that you have to say, yeah, they've got a 10-3 record, but they've been squeaking by. They got past Buffalo, 37-34. And right now, Eagle fans and their talking heads are killing them. This was last night, post-game.
Fundamental football, we didn't do that. We had to go out and play physical football. We didn't do that. So we deserve to get our butts kicked like we got our butts kicked today. I mean, too many mistakes, too many penalties,
10,
too many drop balls, too many fumbles. I mean, once again, we lose the turnover battle. You cannot play against great teams or good teams, or I got to call these last 2 teams great teams. In fact, those are the 2 best teams in the NFL that we played the last 2 weeks. So at the end of the day, we got out class, we got out coach, we got out play, we got out physical, we got out everything, especially in the score, to 2 dominant teams. And to think we're going to go to the Super Bowl when we play like that, there's no way we even get past the first round of the playoffs if we make it to the playoffs.
75-32 combined score. 75-32 in the last 2 weeks, 42-19 to the Niners, and then tonight 33-13 to the Cowboys. It was really bad. And to be sure, just to be clear, the Eagles still do control their own destiny. If they beat Seattle next week, Monday nighter, if they beat the New York Giants, Arizona Cardinals, New York Giants, they will win the division, if not be the top overall seed in the NFC.
Yeah,
Josh,
Michael, they're at worst the number 2 seed.
At worst the number 2, but it still doesn't mean a bye. It does not mean a bye for them.
If they win out and the Niners slip up, maybe they lose to the Ravens, the Eagles would be the number 1 seed. But after what we just saw, that's a lot to ask.
Michael, there was a stretch over the last 2 games from the
This
49er
is
game
Philadelphia,
to the Dallas game,
NBC.
where the defense ran onto the field 10 straight series, 10 straight drives. On those 10 drives, our opponent scored 9 touchdowns and 1 field goal. I asked Rue, who is a great stat man, he digs everything up. Well, you couldn't even find how they weren't even playing football when you started 1918 numbers there.
But
10 straight drives, 9 touchdowns, and a field goal. I'm flabbergasted.
Well, that field goal is something to build on.
It really is. Give me a little contact. That field goal is something to build on, babe. But here's the thing.
Wow.
When you look at this Eagles team and you look at the players not playing, the coaches not coaching, management not getting the right players, of those 3, what is it? What is befalling them now?
I'm not going to say the player.
Wow.
The players not being in that locker room. They have the players in that locker room.
Even on defense.
I disagree.
I disagree, yeah.
They just don't have the players, Barrett. And
where do they not have the players?
In the secondary and at linebacker. I mean, mainly.
I'm going to let them kill them for a minute.
After the last 2 weeks. And I think it's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of Howie, it's a little bit of Nick, the coordinators, the position coaches, and the players. When you get embarrassed back-to-back weeks by 20-plus points, and you're a Super Bowl team, you consider yourself a Super Bowl team, there's breakdowns in every single area. But I think the secondary and linebacker more than anything.
All right, but that's all well and good, but as Barrett is probably alluding, they got an offense, they got players on offense, they got potential
and they scored. We got 2 field goals.
Yeah,
there you go.
Where the money's invested. money's invested in the offensive line, defensive line, and quarterback position. The offensive line, they blocked okay today. The defensive line, they didn't rush as well as they should have. Quarterback position had a fumble. We didn't execute the offense. We're trying to go down the field too damn much. We need to dink and dunk, go down the field that way, slant, something in the interior of the defense, because at this point, we're going down the field too much, and it's not paying dividends for us. We need to change that up. Defensively, I don't know how we stop the bleeding there. I mean, the money's invested in the defensive line. Those guys got to take over. They're not, and that's why we're losing the way we're losing right now.
All right, Zach Cunningham back. Supposedly he was going to be a big help. Shaq Leonard, the three-time All-Pro, coming off 2 back surgeries in there. What did you see from him?
I thought Cunningham was very active.
Cunningham
thought Cunningham was active.
Okay.
Leonard, we saw a few plays. It's hard to evaluate.
He didn't play much.
Didn't play much. Yeah, it's hard to evaluate a guy when he doesn't know the defense. I'm surprised he was on the field, quite honestly.
Well, I mean, there's too many situations where we see their best players running wide open. We said in the beginning, Ferguson and Lamb have to be stopped, and those 2 players were killing us. I said early in the pregame show that we got to stop their running backs from falling forward. And every single time, point of contact when they first get hit is at least 5 yards after that they get tackled.
I thought
we got to stop that.
I really think the last 2 weeks the Eagles looked, on both sides of the ball, looked slower and less physical than their opponent.
Absolutely.
I thought they looked slow tonight on both sides of the ball, just plodding.
Is this enough? Okay. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Okay. Pirated YouTube channel from Asia. Okay. But I think we can summarize what the Philadelphia media has basically said happened to the Eagles.
Disrespected yet? Does this defense have any heart?
No, they suck. I've been telling you all season, Philly.
Shit on you. They've shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slate, they shit on you. They've shit on you. They have shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slate, they shit on you. Kill them.
Oh my goodness! Did he say they cock it on them?
Hate the style of defense.
Yeah, I would pretty much say that's about what happened. They shit on you. But looking at this game, here's the thing that was great. Our running attack wasn't spectacular. Tony Pollard, 16 carries, 59 yards, 3.7 yard average. Rico Dowdle, 12 carries, 46 yards, 3.8 and a touchdown. You did have Turpin with 1 carry for 22 yards, Dak with 3 for 11. So yardage-wise per play was not great, but this is where I'm going to give the Eagles credit because they put all their money in their draft picks and capital on that defensive line. You think about Fletcher Cox. You think about Jalen Carter. You think about, I can't think of Hassan Reddick. You think about Jordan Davis. That is a very formidable defensive front. And teams, I believe that they were the #1 run-stopping defense in the NFL, although teams hadn't been challenging them much because you can make hay on that secondary and linebacker core. So why typically go through and try and run the ball into a brick wall? But the Cowboys, hey, we rushed for over 100 yards. And if you remember back in the days when Emmitt Smith had 100 yards, we pretty much won. And it wasn't so much about Emmitt Smith getting the 100 yards as it was the Cowboys were able to dominate the competition and be able to continue to run the football. And that is true today. And it was actually kind of surprising because the Cowboys came right out and they tried running right up the middle on the Eagles, and they made hay on it. You have to give credit to Mike McCarthy. They came out with a great game plan. Dak Prescott, with the exception of the fumble where Terrence Steele got beat on the outside by Hassan Reddick. Reddick had a field game day the game before, and he's a great pass rusher. You're going to get beat from time to time. But that was the only touchdown that the Eagles got. So you look at that and say that the Cowboys' offensive line, check that off. They did their job and then some. They took care of business. They handled it, and they did great. So offense, the thing that I love more than anything else, if you've been a fan of the Joe Boo Sports Report for many, many years, I've talked about tight end. After Jason Witten started getting old but didn't really come off the field, we had a problem with tight end. You remember we had like Rico, can't remember, Rico was here because I used to always call him Rico Suave. We had kind of like a whole bunch of different guys at tight end, and then Jason Witten came back. But we haven't had a playmaking tight end in a long time, a guy that you look at. And see, when you look at like Tampa Bay with Gronk and Tom Brady, or you look at Tom Brady with Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, you look at the Eagles with Zach Ertz or Dallas Goedert, you look at Kansas City with Kelsey, you look at San Francisco, of course, with Skittle Kittle. Tight ends are as important and maybe even more important than having your wide receiver. You need a guy who can block and who can catch and make plays. And Jake Ferguson is becoming that dude. He led the Cowboys in passing yardage yesterday. 72 yards on 5 receptions, 14.4 yards per reception. And CD had 6 for 71 yards. And so when you can have him as a weapon, and you've got a CD Lamb who he's got to stop the drops out there, and you get a Michael Gallup who actually had 48 yards, 16-yard average, and then you get a Tony Pollard that gets 7 for 37 yards, and then you get a Brandon Cooks that gets 2 for 37 yards, and even a Rico Dowdle. When you can distribute that ball like that on the field, it's very, very hard to stop a team. And that's what the Cowboys offense is doing. I used to always say, I want to see the Cowboys offense to be death by 1,000 cuts, where you don't know where it's coming from, so you don't know how to stop it. And I'm going to finish up this morning. We got plenty of weight. We're going to be breaking this thing down. We've got, we'll enjoy this today, but now we've got to get ready to go to Buffalo. Now, this is where it's kind of crazy. After the game last night, my wife's getting ready to take my brother-in-law home, and she opened up the door and said, "It's snowing. It's snowing." And didn't know snow was even coming. We got about 1.5 2 inches of snow, mostly on the grass, but it was like, wow. And it was about 32, 31 degrees. It was cold out, and I did my fireside chat out there. The long-range forecast, now this is still a week out, so things can change, but the long-range forecast for Buffalo was 48 for the high, and I think 35 for the low. Cowboys, sometimes you need a little bit of luck. You need to be able to play great. You need to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And unfortunately, we didn't with the Cardinals, having short 3 offensive linemen and having just lost Diggs. But if the weather is not bad in Buffalo, then that helps the Cowboys tremendously. So we'll see where that goes, but we're going to need to be focusing in on the Buffalo Bills and the poster boy for Madden. Let's finish up with Get Up this morning. Let's see what they have to say about the Cowboys.
We're going to play the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. It was a 3-horse race, and we were trying to figure out how they would jockey for position. Yeah. After these 2 weeks, it's a 2-horse race. And now the Philadelphia Eagles have to show me that they're fast enough to not only keep up, but get back into the discussion. When you look at the last 2 weeks, they've been absolutely boat raced. And Rex knows this. Good teams can have bad days. You cannot necessarily be on your execution the way that you're supposed to, but you don't get bludgeoned, right? You don't get physically dominated. People don't walk away from the game with you and lace with expletives, like we heard from DeMarcus Lawrence say, we just hit him in the face.
He did.
The word that stuck out to me was when they quit, right? So you're talking about a Dallas Cowboys team that has been called a front runner, that has been called a team that won't finish, that doesn't understand how to inflict their will on other people, and they feel like they've done that to the Philadelphia Eagles. If you look at the last 2 weeks, the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys are not scared of this team. This was a team that was winning by the skin of their teeth, and now they're getting blown out of stadiums and arenas. And the other side, this is a team that can contend for a championship.
Yeah, the better team won. Plain and simple. And you know what? The tougher team won.
Yeah.
Now, when's the last time we could say that about a Dallas Cowboy team compared to a Philadelphia Eagle team?
Yeah.
But you can do it right now. And the biggest thing to me is, because I said it 4 weeks ago that they have closed the gap. Both those teams, the Niners and the Cowboys, have closed the gap. And remember when I warned you about when you win by decision?
Yeah.
That's not the mark of a good football team. A good football team wins by knockout, okay? And we saw it yesterday. The Cowboys knocked out the Eagles, all right? And here's the thing. All these, they've had 8 one-score knockouts. And then the other team, the Niners, have won 4 by 20.
Right.
And so to me, they're not in that class. Your point, RC, is about they're not in that class. No. And it's just absolutely crazy.
But you think about this though, Greeny. 2 weeks ago, this team was 10-1.
Yeah.
We were talking about how this team, no matter what, found ways to win games against good opponents, and to not even be close the last 2 weeks, to not even be within reach to pinch the San Francisco 49ers of the Dallas Cowboys in truth. And this rarely happens in the NFL. This is embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
These are 2 embarrassing performances on the biggest stage.
Like, here's the thing. I remember sitting in a locker room in Baltimore before. All right? We used to get whipped all the time by Jacksonville.
Yeah.
All right? And I remember Ray and everybody sitting back in there. We never have to lose to this team again.
Yeah.
That's the mentality that it looked like Dallas was saying. So we don't ever have to lose.
There you go.
All right, let me make an excuse here for the Philadelphia.
Oh, here we go.
Because some things are excuses and some things are reasons. I understand that they have been physically bludgeoned in back-to-back games. I will also point out that when they played the 49ers last week, they were playing at a significant rest disadvantage, and they did it again this week. That's back-to-back games in which their opponent had played the Thursday, had the mini bye, turn around, come back and play this. What I'm trying to say, I guess what I'm trying to ask.
That matters, Greeny.
I think it matters significantly.
Yep.
So what I'm asking you is this. You know, it's my favorite question. Bad week or bad sign for the Eagles? Now it's 2 bad weeks.
This is a bad sign.
Bad sign.
This is
Bad
a bad
sign
sign.
for
Now,
sure.
This doesn't mean that a team with championship medal, the way that Rex and I feel this team is, can't rebound. It doesn't mean that you can't get healthy playing the Giants twice and playing the schedule that the Philadelphia Eagles play down the stretch.
Right.
But there's also going to creep in a little bit of doubt. A little bit of doubt that says, are we what we were last year, or
No,
what
you're not.
we were at the beginning of the season?
No,
And
you're
if
not.
you're the San Francisco 49ers, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, without a shadow of a doubt, you believe you're the best team in the NFC. And the team that you're looking at to say, okay, this is our stiffest competition, ain't the Philadelphia Eagles, right? When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, who I absolutely love, he has to get healthy. Not only get healthy, be better for 4 quarters. And what's leaking in here is this.
I love it.
Remember watching Jalen Hurts walk off of the field versus the Buffalo Bills, walk off of the field versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And we were talking about him not necessarily seeming happy. I think it's because he knew this could happen.
Yeah, go ahead. Could I just say,
Yes.
like, real quick, this defense has been a disaster in Philadelphia.
Yes.
All right, it's one of the worst third down defense. They can't get off the field.
can't
on
tackle
3rd down.
either.
They don't tackle well. And by the way, they had 5 new starters. But the biggest disappointment is the guy they got coordinating that defense, because right now I can tell you exactly what they're in. They do nothing to challenge the offense, and that's their problem.
Wow. So there we have it. The Eagles are getting slayed. So I guess it is cry, Eagles cry. And I appreciate you guys this morning. We got a lot of stuff to get to and talk about today. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And I will see y'all later.
Fuck them birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Now we shoot those birds out of the sky. Stupid dumbasses managed to give up a 3rd and 30 to my sexy arm. Pathetic defense and team. No wonder I own those piece of shit frauds every damn year. Don't get me started on the fans. You boo me while I earned a respected award. Losing the Super Bowl was just karma for you fuckheads. I can't wait to drop 100 on your heads next season while being the daddy of the NFC East again.